Hello, this is Callie J.N.S. and I hope you guys are enjoying your Thursday and that you're having a great week. And, you know, I really wanted to cover this topic because I thought it was a little obnoxious, as you can see, even the title of the video. These are Trump's exact words. I'm just quoting him. And so I wanted to talk about like the dynamics of, his visit to the Chick-fil-A and the ATL, and as far as the Chick-fil-A, I guess they do like chicken and stuff like that. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not really a big fan of Chick-fil-A. I had a friend that used to love them and their milkshakes, but there's never really my cup of tea. So I can't really I think I ate about like 3 times at Chick-fil-A throughout my whole life. But nonetheless, I want to share my screen because I want to show you the video of what I'm talking about. And it had like a beautiful black Americans in the video and whatnot. And let me share it because this was kind of like people are saying it's pandering. It came very close to pandering, but at the same time I do feel it was a little more authentic than what the Democrats have been doing, but it's still giving pandering tease. But I'm going to explain the context first. Let's just look at the video. So get rich, right? So can I have 30 milkshakes and also some chicken? I'm going to take care of the customers. Is business good? You're making a lot of money. Everyone can get rich, right? Thank you very much. So can I have 30 milkshakes and also some chicken? Can I have 30 milkshakes and also some chicken? Really, Trump? And so the reaction of the black Americans, they're obviously, they just chilling. They ready to do their job and serve their order, get the order done. And they look so cute, don't they? They just look so cute. And so it doesn't look like they're, I would say, as far as my opinion, do I think that it's pandering as far as this whole optic? I think it is an optic. It may or may not be scripted. I'm not sure. Trump has been known to go to fast food restaurants and order a bunch of ridiculous shit. Like he went to McDonald's and, I think they had like 250 cheeseburgers or something like that. So, from what I'm understanding, he paid for the tab for everybody that was in there. So here's another video. And they say whoever get ready. Paid everybody. Ooh, it just happened to see everybody. And so it just happens to be a lot of black Americans in ATL, obviously, and then obviously at the Chick-fil-A. Now with Chick-fil-A, everybody eats at Chick-fil-A. So that's why I didn't really feel like, okay, they do it like, how the Democrats, they love to pander and they like to play around with hot sauce and chicken and cookout and barbecue and collard green. They like to kind of play things up a bit, so, as far as relatability, so they could come off more palatable. But a lot of times it kind of comes off as cringe and it's offensive, And so the situation with this, it's kind of like a fine line, but it's a little bit different because he paid for everybody's meal in there. Chick-fil-A is an American establishment. Is not necessarily known to just be, a lot of black Americans obviously eat at Chick-fil-A too, but this is Chick-fil-A is first and foremost mostly patronized by white Americans. And and another thing, like I feel like I would have felt a different way if it was like a Popeyes. I don't know, like how would you guys have felt if it was a Popeyes chicken or if it was KFC? Would the optics have, I think the context and things would have been taken a lot more different. I think it would have went so well had they chose like a Popeyes. I think the Chick-fil-A was is very all American. Everybody eats at Chick-fil-A, especially Christians. So I think like the Chick-fil-A thing, I felt like that was a good choice to make strategically, paying for everybody's tab. I think that was very that was a nice gesture to send to the American people. And he has done that before, so that's not really a big deal. And also ATL, you got the ATL dynamic. What was he doing in ATL? I know that he got arrested and I know he had to report in ATL. ATL is a very very popular city It's a lot of energy here. Just on the esoteric level, there's a lot of energy here. There's a lot of ancestral energy here for Black Americans in general in Georgia. And so I guess I wonder why was he in Georgia? I guess that's something I can look up and probably let me look that up while
How you doing, Trump?
I'm doing good.
I love you, man.
Good. You look good.
I love you.
Everybody straight. Everybody having a good time. Get ready. Yeah, I'll give you one. Nice to see everybody.
How you doing, Trump?
I'm doing good.
I love you, man.
Good. You look good.
Okay, so a lot of the people was happy to see him. It looks like it wasn't like a hostile thing. Again, it's a lot different than 2020. How as far as the Black American reaction to Trump, a lot of us got scolded in 2016. And so many Black Americans were quiet that when you want to voice their displeasures about the Democratic Party and a Hillary. Their displeasures with a Hillary candidacy and even what we see now with the Joe Biden administration. And so a lot of people, a lot of Black Americans have been quiet in the past. They're a lot more outspoken in terms of their perspective and change from views and particularly this Democratic Party shit. It's a mess. So it's a lot of shift in Black American energy in terms of our political lens, and so it leads me to with me either way. I've always been registered independent. I do think we should always first and foremost go with our best interests. Not even in a context of the lesser of the two evil type energy, because I believe in switch up and shake ups, and I believe in people doing the right thing the first time around. So I'm not one to just tell people to go with one party over the other without getting something that's going to benefit us. That's first and foremost. And so with Black Americans, there's this campaign to get us more conservative, to have which we already are conservative, but to go with back to the Republican Party. They got this thing, the campaign in Chicago, where they want to turn Chicago red. They want to make sure it turns back red and all these things. And so they're utilizing a lot of Black American influencers, Black American commentators, activists, whatever, to push this conservative, red, make Chicago red and make Georgia red. And how I feel about that, I mean, what are we getting out of it? We're going to turn these things red. Okay, that's cool and all. Okay, but what about some of the things that's on our agenda? That's the only thing that I say. Like, let's not just go to the Republican Party and we get dicked around or we get screwed over just like we be getting screwed over by the Democrats. And so that would be my only contention. I think it's an obvious one. And also, while views may align with some of the more conservative aspects in terms of immigration policy, like Trump did mention on his website that he does plan on deporting. Now that's actually, because I didn't think, because I was wondering, I'm like, okay, the Republicans, they may be acting like they all up in arms about immigration, but what are they actually going to do about it? So he does have a deportation plan in place. He does have the platinum plan in place. I do think that needs some work on the agenda for Black America. I do think that needs some considerable work. I do think that we need to be at the table even discussing that with Trump, that platinum plan and some things that could be amended or added or whatnot. And we need people that will speak up for that. We actually need boldness in that area, in a way where it's strategic and makes sense, and it's a win-win for all of us involved, including obviously the Black Americans. And so, when it comes to this Chick-fil-A stuff, I mean, it's a vibe. I mean, Chick-fil-A, everybody loves Chick-fil-A. I am not the biggest fan of Chick-fil-A. I do think their milkshakes were okay. I had tried one of them gluten-free. They had the gluten-free grilled chicken sandwich. And I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling the vibe. I wasn't feeling their gluten-free bun. And it's all, I mean, whatever. But the Black Americans, they eating this up, Well, Americans in general are eating this up, him going to the Chick-fil-A. Now they say he was in Atlanta to do some sort of let's see, what was he in there for? He met with voters and spoke to reporters. Okay, so he had some legal battles, and then the Arizona Supreme Court ruling upholding the 19th century abortion ban. What is this? Okay. So I guess he had some remarks in Atlanta, but they're not really saying why was he there. I really wanted to know what was he there for. But as far as this 30 milkshakes and some chicken, what kind of chicken? Like, I would have been looking like, if I was the worker there, I would have been like, that's ghetto as hell to just go up to some workers and say you want 30 milkshakes and some chicken. What kind of chicken? They have chicken nuggets, they have chicken tenders, they have chicken sandwich, chicken biscuit. So what kind of chicken are you referring to? Like, I really was outdone by that. I'm like, that is just like Trump to say some shit like that. Can you be more specific? And I guess they didn't give him, they didn't say, well, what kind of chicken. So I guess they knew, but maybe I'm wrong. But to me, I'm looking at the menu just from right here. I see sandwiches. I see something that look like nuggets. I see something that look like, maybe a slider or something. Like, what kind of damn chicken? So it says that Trump told the staff he was going to hand them out to the customers and take some for his entourage. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Former President Donald Trump treated customers at Chick-fil-A in Atlanta to chicken and milkshakes. The person capturing the moment on video pointed out the former president that Chick-fil-A was a great American franchise. It is. Again, it's all American. So in that sense, we can't really, Black Americans, if he was to just do Popeye's chicken, I think it would have been like, okay, now you pandering. I think it would have been like, what? Like, I think the optics looks better with the Chick-fil-A. It's definitely American. People were saying the Lord's chicken because I guess they had got Chick-fil-A was one of the only establishments that had spoke out against, I forgot what it was with the LGBT stuff, and they had took a very conservative approach as far as the CEO, and then I guess they were trying to cancel Chick-fil-A, and then Americans came out and drove to support Chick-fil-A. And so you have that dynamic there too, as far as the Chick-fil-A being a conservative establishment. So people are saying it's the Lord's chicken. I don't know about all that. Oh, come on. Give me a break. I mean, did Trump know the CEO of Chick-fil-A? They're probably friends. So it says Trump could haul in massive amount of campaign cash during the Atlanta-Orlando fundraising swing. Okay, so it looks like he might have been doing a fundraiser here. Okay, so Trump then started handing out the shakes to the customers who wanted one. The presidential campaign is expected to haul roughly $15 million at top dollar fundraisers on Wednesday in ATL in Atlanta, Florida. Okay, so he was scheduled to meet with some of Georgia's most prominent MAGA supporters, including former Senate Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, who both nearly lost their seats in January 2021. And he's also expected to meet with the Home Depot founder, Bernie Marcus, and Beer and Wine Spirits founder, Magnate Don Levon III. Okay, so it looks like they're trying to make some moves. They're trying to put the move down in the ATL so they could try to swing Georgia back red. I honestly don't believe that Georgia was ever blue shit. You ain't gonna tell me that ATL voted for some damn Biden and turned all of Georgia blue. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second. And so I wouldn't be shocked if Georgia goes to Trump come 2024 election. I wouldn't be shocked at all. It's a lot of people that is freaked out by this Biden administration. I mean, you have to be living under a rock or smoking some damn crack if you think that this Biden administration has been good for the American people, for the American economy, for the American financial markets, for the American education, American everything, the military. I mean, you have to be living under a complete rock to not see what's going on with this Biden. I mean, to be honest, from what it looks like they can have anybody be the president. I mean, you can get a damn potato up there. I mean, because Biden, I mean, you have to be, how they this administration, they come at your neck. I noticed if you speak about Biden administration, believe it or not, he's just on the social media platforms now. It's a lot different. Used to be able to talk cash money shit about the presidents and the elections and everything back in the day. Believe it or not, they do it's a slow censor. It's a slow watch. Like if you start talking about the president, kind of get on the radar. The Biden, mind you, you could talk shit about Trump all day. You actually can get on a list for supporting Trump. This is how crazy these people don't win. But I mean, they can have the damn potato run the damn country. I mean, seriously. I mean, if you had Biden in there these 4 years and yeah, I mean, seriously, is what it looks like to me. Because I mean, we know I mean, is he really running the country as Biden? You really think he's making the decisions and he's really going in there making executive order? Come on now, no. I mean, come on. And Kamala Harris, really? I mean, Kamala Harris, Montel Jordan's jump up the girl, Montel Jordan's ex. I don't know, man. This whole thing just looked like a damn shit show. I'm like, y'all need to get me up in. I mean, if Biden could be the president, I might as well get my motherfucking ass up in there. Because at least I'm very, I could really run this shit. You know, I love running governance around this bitch. I had everybody hooked up, all of America hooked up, including myself. But I'm like, if y'all rolling with like this is what you get for president. Did y'all see the president of Ukraine and videos he did with shaking his booty and dressed as a girl? The president of Ukraine. I'm like, damn, anybody could be the damn president in a free world country, whether it's the United States, whether it's in Europe. I'm like, what in the world is going on here? I mean, and then when you start to look at like even some of these senators and these Congress, there's senators twerking. Senate, I mean, you got the stuff that happened in the Congress with the bussy, with the guy filming his little sex tape in the Congress Senate chamber in the Congress chambers, and I mean, what has really happened? I mean, like it used to be looked at as kind of serious in terms of politics and our elected officials. Like you kind of used to take them like more on a serious tip, but these days it's looking like what the hell done happened? I mean, they got Fonnie Ruckus, not Fonnie Ruckus. What's the lady's name? Fonnie Mills. What's Fonnie? The girl in the ATL, the lady in the ATL that her and her brother was doing some spending some money or some shit. What's that lady's? Fonnie Willis, district attorney of Fulton County. She up there giving her testimony, sounding, come on, no decorum whatsoever. That you know, I understand that the code switching and all that. You like to just be your home yourself, you know, be the home girl, you know, in your house, whatever. Just like how I'm talking right now. But she got up there in court, telling me, I don't know. The only one to take care of my bills is my daddy. Shit, and I got money laying everywhere. I don't know. I'm looking like, what in the world? Then they had the other beautiful sister, this other black woman. She get elected. They say she spent all this money up. They claim she spent all this money. That she was taking $500 steakhouses or something and getting first class tickets to Las Vegas, whatever. Had a $266,000 salary or whatever. From what I'm understanding, but I looked into that some months ago. It did look all legal, but she should have specified and she should have known going in, like, why was she being paid this salary? It looks like she did, as far as the paperwork itself, as far as the legalities. What she did was legal in terms of paying herself a salary, but I guess what she was spending it on or something, it was kind of questionable and unethical, especially it's a small town and you need to be doing things for the people, and the people are the one, you know. I can see you need a six-figure salary. I understand having $100,000 salary and, you know, allocation for maybe a car or some, you know, some money for transportation for a vehicle, whatever. But for what I'm understanding, this lady was like was taking $500, you know, for steak and you know, first class, you know, big old lavish hotels and all this stuff. Come on, you know. So she even was kind of sounding a little ghetto, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on with politics? And they just let anybody up in this. Let me run my ass for something. That's ridiculous. I mean, someone that's actually serious. Like I've always been one that wanted to get into that stuff, and maybe I will one day. But I just was cracking up looking at this stuff, and then I'm just like, you know, the veil has thinned in that regard, because I mean, we always knew politics was cutthroat. We always knew it was pimping and hoeing. We always knew it was some fuckery going on. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. I turn the other way, I turn the other cheek. You know, we kind of know it has a grimy underpinning, but it doesn't have to be. Just like with anything, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And so, unfortunately, you have a lot of corrupt actors But when I think of governance, and when I think of governance of a city or on a local level or state level, to me, I take that to be serious. It was like, aren't we actually supposed to be really running the city in its highest efficiency? Like, aren't we actually supposed to be doing things for the, like, aren't we supposed to be listening to, the public? And I think that's where I probably would never really be able to understand the corruption aspect of politics, because that's not how my mind works. And so, you know, it is what it is. But with Fonnie Willis, they had her up in there. What's going on with her? She says, new prosecutor to decide fate of Georgia Lieutenant Governor in Trump case. And she went after Trump, and so, that other lady, I noticed the two black women that's getting scolded by the media happen to be those that went after the Trump camp. Like, she, for what I'm understanding, she wanted to actually bring a whole case against Trump. She was the one that was really behind this. Yeah, she's facing new legal issues, pushes back on latest Trump effort to remove her. Okay, so there's some stuff going on with her. But my thing is, the Democrat, this is DNC probably behind it as far as putting her up to go after them to move from prosecuting Georgia election subversion case. And I just think she in over her head a bit. They had her take the hit for that, to go after President Donald Trump to disqualify him. Let's see. So she got her peoples, and she going against his people, and they probably got a better team. They probably got more. I mean, Georgia is old money, old South Republic. I don't care how much they try to tell you that this is Democrats, and I mean, with the exception of Atlanta, and Atlanta is, I don't even believe all that stuff they trying to push about Atlanta and Democrats. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like she's this district attorney in Atlanta going against Georgia politics, going against Trump in Georgia politics. And I do think that, as quiet as it kept, they have some things on lock that, and I think they was able to pull rank on her. They got her out here looking crazy. They had her out here looking crazy. I guess they're wrapping up what's going on now, because this has been going on for a while, at least a month that I tuned into. It's probably way longer than that, but I don't, and I live in Georgia, and I still don't be paying attention to this shit. So it says Fountain County District Attorney Fonnie Willis pushing back on the latest attempt by former President Donald Trump and his co-defendants to disqualify her entire office from prosecuting the election subversion case in Georgia, according to a new court filing Monday. So Willis asked the Georgia Court of Appeals to uphold Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee's initial ruling that allowed her to remain on the criminal case if her top prosecutor, Nathan Wade, resigned. So Wade did resign. Willis argued on Monday that the appeals court should deny that request. There being no error by the trial court that presented application. Let's see. Okay, so she's facing ethic allegations. Trump and co-defendants are still arguing the romantic relationship between Willis and Wade created a conflict of interest. Perhaps it did. I don't know. At a minimum, DA Willis and her office should have been disqualified from prosecuting the case. Trump's lead Georgia-based attorney, Steve Siddall, wrote when he asked the appeals court to take up his case. The Georgia Court of Appeals should grant the application and accept the interlocutory appeal for consideration on the merits. So, I mean, she's going up against Trump. Again, a lot of this stuff is way deeper than the actual politics at the surface level. But at the same time, I think she in over her head. I don't think. I mean, I don't know. The DNC, the Democrats, they wild. I mean, so you never know. They'll pull a fast one on you. So I won't rule it out yet. But I don't see them really backing her either. Like, they'll hang one they own a dry, the DNC. And so maybe they will have her back and try to pull a move, try to pull a fast one. They play dirty. They play so fucking dirty, it's not even funny. They play so dirty. I mean, so we'll see. We'll see. I mean, but did they even have to really have that whole Georgia subversion election case in the first place? You know what I mean? So they know they playing games around with that shit. They playing games, and it's all a horse and pony show. Nonetheless, it's a horse and pony show. Even this chicken thing, even the situation with him going to get the chicken with the precious Black Americans working and so something we gonna make some money, we gonna get rich. Yeah, you can't get no rich off of no Chick-fil-A salary. I mean, but he just playing around. But the can I get some can I get 30 milkshake and some chicken? If that ain't ghetto, I don't know what is. And Trump is ghetto. And I fucks with Trump, but he be saying something. It would be looking like, and we all kind of knew that. Like that's been a running joke, honestly, in the Black community for like 10 years now. Like I'm telling you, like we'll be listening to sound bites of Trump. We'll be like, what the hell? Like what? Did you just say that? What? It'd be hilarious. It really do be hilarious. So it's been a running joke that he's obnoxious, but people love that flair. Like that's kind of like it's given alpha tease. Like that's something that is acceptable in American culture. Like Americans have always been seen as more obnoxious than say our British counterparts in terms of flair and personality. So I think he lives up to that in that regard. I find that funny. It was something else I wanted to mention. Oh, even that situation with Trump with the bond and the bailout, and the reporter asked, "How you going to be paying?" He says, "Cash." He's constantly throwing them digs and constantly, fucking with the media back. They fuck with him, he fuck with them back, and so this I think was a good optic. You know, for whatever the campaign itself is trying to convey, as it relates to Black Americans. Again, we have to put a move down, and we have to hold our Black Americans that do have his ear, that do get to sit at the table. We do need to tell them, like, okay, what is the deal with the platinum plan? I really think Trump, the election in November or whatnot, but you got what November is 11. You got about like 6-7 months or whatever, 4 or 5. I think that instead of these type of optics, I think it would be really, really good if you talked about the platinum plan, whether that be at a respectable, ethical Black church, some type of town hall conference, something where there's some Black Americans and you speak directly to them about that. I think that will seal the deal for you. It shouldn't be too much to ask. I mean, seriously. What is it? Whether it be the new plant, the New Deal for Black America, or what was the other, the Platinum Plan? I think that you should be speaking on that to Black Americans. I think you should go where they are at, and actually talk politics. Like, and that would be more that will go a long way. You have the optics of paying for their lunch at an everyday restaurant, just happenstance going to get you some chicken and a milkshake for your people, and look out for everybody there in the ATL. Cool, but I really do think that it would be very incumbent upon you, and also it would look that optics would look very, very powerful. And because again, the Biden administration is not going to do anything of that nature. They're not going to go. I mean, this is going to be incessant pandering into where it's a turnoff. But I think you have an opportunity, while Black Americans are in this conundrum of waning support for the Democratic Party. I think it would be dope if you actually go and talk amongst, some things about the Platinum Plan. A nice little, it could be even a round table of respectable Black Americans, and talk politics, like just have it, just straight politics, and a little bit of jokes here and there and whatnot. But just talking about some of the things that we can expect under this administration, just like you would have to under when you go speak with any of the other constituents, that you have the business class, you got the corporate class, you still have to go in and talk to various people. You have middle America that you have had to talk to. And so I think going into a black church as a former president running for reelection again, as Trump, as the one that started Truth Social and doing these things and really trying and draining the swamp. Don't forget that mission either. Trump draining the swamp, cracking down on his trafficking and all this stuff. That's something that you don't really promote that as much as far as part of your campaign. But to be honest, that's why a lot of Black Americans and Americans in general, that's why a lot of Americans did secretly want you in for 2016 and openly, because they knew what time it was when you said you was going to drain that swamp and go out and change some of them laws around that trafficking. It was so many people, with the exception of those escorts that were willingly or voluntarily in that field. But for those that were involuntary, whether that be children, people, even adults that were sex trafficked illegally, I mean that helped your plan around that, attacking that, and really going against that really helped your campaign. And so I do know in 2020 there were some Black Americans that talked about it, but I think that should still be on the agenda as far as dealing with this trafficking in America, human trafficking in America. I do think that should still be on your top agenda as far as combating it. I don't think you should forget that, for this time around. And I do think, again, you bring that, you talk about that, as well as again, something specifically for Black Americans. You guys know that the what's the Biden poll right now? I haven't looked at it. Last time I checked, it was in the 30s. It was in the 30s. Let me look and see where it's at now. It may have risen. Biden's poll rating. Let's see where it's at now. Ooh, so it's 37%. So 56% said they disapprove, and 37% are showing that they approved of the Biden administration. Dim numbers with Latinos rise as Biden's drop. So this was 2 days ago. This is Axios. I want to look at something that let's look at let's go here and see what's the latest Trump Biden polling. Let's see. So this is Rosenberg. So we got 46% to 45%. The Economist poll. So they saying both men are unpopular and it's going to be a tight race. Okay, so for their poll, Biden, the poll gives Biden a 3 percentage point lead, 43 to 40%, when facing off against Trump in a head-to-head matchup. So is that Emerson? Okay, so Emerson College polling has it at 41%, 51% for Trump and 49% for Biden. YouGov have them at 43% apiece. Okay, so Biden's approval rating stands at 40% compared to 55% disapproval as of April 8, and Trump's approval rating is about 42% compared to a disapproval rating of 53%. And so with these polls, I mean, they only sample a certain amount of the American population, and then they extrapolate it to the entire American population. And so, I mean, I'm not sure if these are the best indicators to use in terms of popularity, because there is a lot of propaganda and there is a lot of control over the media and what they want people to even take from these type of things. Hey, brother Ken, I didn't even know you were in here. Oh yeah, hey, brother Ken. I just so you guys know, I don't look at I be looking at other screens, so I don't be seeing the comment section. Hey, Brittany Williams as well. Brittany Williams, she probably like the hell. And brother Ken, I want to make sure I acknowledge you guys. Um, yes. So as far as like this being an actual indicator, I'm not really sold. It may or may not be because I don't see. Look at this nonsense. Favorability of Biden and Trump among U.S. Latinos. Well, I could see that because the Latinos, you know, they bringing so many of them over here from the border. Maybe I don't know. It's they want the immigration policy. So who knows. Some of them Latinos, a lot of them are, especially Cubans, a lot of them are staunch Republicans, though. Let's see. Warning to former president, even as they're trending toward Democrat on several key issues. But the Democrats are giving Latinos, tangibles. They're giving them things. And so they probably feel like we're going to stay with the Democrats. The Latinos may be the Democrats' new voting base. I know that that was their play, that was always their strategy, but I didn't think it would work, and it still may not work because a lot of Latinos tend to vote very conservative and Republican. And I think that could be obviously by that you have to delineate, this idea of Latinos, because we do know that the Cubans and the Bolivians, they tend to be more Republican, but then maybe say the Puerto Ricans or the Dominicans tend to be more Democrat. I don't know how it works. And so if maybe the Puerto Ricans are more conservative, I'm not sure, but it could be, they just with the Latinos. I want to know, like, how do you delineate that? Because which ones want to roll with the Democrats? Because I know a lot of Latinos, they like every Latino I come across, they seem to be mighty conservative, but that was usually mostly Cubans. Let's see, a rapidly growing and crucial voting bloc, particularly in the swing states. We got the swing states, Nevada and Arizona, appear to like Democrats' ideas more than they like Biden. Okay, yeah. So Trump, he's known about he's not well liked because of his take on immigration, most likely. So Trump vows to deport 1 million migrants, and so that can put them in danger. 1 million. Now, how many immigrants are in the country? Illegal immigrants are in the United States. Is 1 million? Is that seem? I don't know. Let's see. So I don't know if I believe these polling things, but for me, I think the election is going to be a shit show. I think that we're going to realize that presidents are selected and not elected. They were always selected, but I think we'll see some things. We don't even know Trump's running mate for the vice president yet. I mean, it's just a lot. Y'all don't think that there's a lot of stuff off with the whole election with Biden and Trump? Like, we have, I mean, maybe it's too early. Is it too early for debates? I thought we would get a debate in by now. We'll know at least who the running mates are. We'll see. I don't know. Like, it just seems different. The energy just seems different, and I think it's because we do know the house of cards are kind of like falling in terms of the whole media apparatus and even politics itself. The whole political thing. I think people are kind of the American people are probably disillusioned with it. They're disillusioned. They're not impressed with either candidate. Perhaps they're not impressed with Trump. They're not impressed with Biden. And in so many, they really just don't want Biden in there. It's like anybody but Biden. With Trump, I mean, we need a bull run on the economy. Okay, we need interest rates to stay flat. We need inflation to stay flat. Trump, we need to continue to drain this swamp, and we need things for Black Americans. We need things for the American people. We need stuff that's going to benefit us, the Americans, jobs. We need tangibles for Black Americans. Like, these are the things that, I mean, come on. So if Trump gets in there, Trump, he knows he does, believe it or not. And if it's not him, his boys, because he got some heavy hitters. He got people. He actually have very intelligent people that work on his stuff with him. Believe it or not. People may say, oh, they're racist or they're this, they're that. As far as like some of the people he takes advice from, or even how to run, when they, especially with that shit they pulled in 2016. I mean, that was Steve Bannon. That was however you feel about it, right or good or bad, right or wrong. For those that could see it, we saw it. We were like, yeah, he had some smooth. He had some. He had some hitters, man. Um, and so when it come to Trump, he has some people that have some modicum of intelligence, at least when it comes to economy, if nothing else, into economy and even war policy, military policy. And so I would say, you need to have your people working on this economy stuff. That's the big thing. When in 2020, massive bull, the market was really good for a lot of people in 2020. I think we need to see something like that while you're in there. We really do. We need to, not another pandemic, obviously, and lockdown or nothing like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a bull run on the economy. I think that's something we need. The Federal Reserve, they need to stop raising interest rates. Um, we need what else? We need them interest rates to stay flat for the next couple of years, or we need to go down. Okay, so that's my thing. Like, how are we going to be able to take advantage? Like, the people that got in on GameStop. Like, we need, like, Black Americans, we need to keep our ears perked, our minds and eyes perked to the next play regarding these markets, the free market, in terms of how we can take advantage, just like how them people took advantage of the GameStop run with them. Was it options? I don't think it was options. I won't quote me on what it was, but I know they was able to put the move down on that GameStop type shit. You know, believe it or not, even just as something to say, if you need a visa, if you want to travel, if you want to get into the market, even like it's certain things you have to even think of on an individual level. This as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as even someone like that's a homeowner. Like, just a lot of people should. I mean, I know we love to do things at the collective level, and we should, especially as Black Americans. But a lot of Black Americans, they don't be talking about how a lot of times they won't tell you how certain person's administration itself on an individual level, they can thrive, or maybe not. Like when we had the girl, I forgot her. I think her name is, what's the baby girl's name? MIA. She was talking about how under the Biden administration, she cannot travel. She can't get her visa. They fucking with her. She has to wait till Trump get in there. She had to wait till a conservative get in there because for the policies to change in order for her to move the way she want to move. Because again, it is gang bang. I know y'all don't think politics is gang banging, but it is. And so the DNC, they have things in place. And MIA is married to a billionaire. They got long, people are connected. People are connected, whether it be to the feds, to these government organizations, to who they know at that level. So when people were saying she sound crazy because she said Biden's trying to keep her from da da da, you don't know who them people know. That guy, the guy she's married to, is the heir of a billionaire that happened to actually be involved in a lot of this stuff that with connections to CIA and all types of shit. You don't know who can make a phone call, or who can even make a phone call by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 degrees of separation and get a move pulled. So when she said that, and people was like, "Oh no, she just crazy," talking about some Biden trying to keep her from traveling because of the visas and all this stuff. That shit may very well be true. It could be true on just the micro level of his administration and the policies within his administration, or it could literally be that motherfucker himself doing some shit. Like, it really could be either or. I wouldn't put it past at that level from what I studied and from what I know. However, If it's more of an administration aspect of it, then you have to wait to another administration get in till you can get stuff passed just for you on the individual level. Like a lot of these immigrants, they love when obviously that's why a lot of the immigrants love when there's a Democrat in office versus when there's a Republican, because things change just on that small level where it affects you. And so that's another thing we as Black Americans should be thinking about. A lot of us are very hardworking Black Americans. We go to work, whether we white collar, blue collar, entrepreneur collar. We do what we have to do. We put our best foot forward with things. We want to see policies that are in our favor. We want to thrive. So, a lot of us, we do want extra disposable income, and we do want interest rates to be cut. We do want certain things that are going to benefit us individually. We do want them tax cuts in certain things if you're a Black business owner or whatnot. We want those things. So we have to think about those things as well. What administration do you thrive better under as a Black American? Who gives the raises in Social Security? Who gives the raises in military benefits? Sometimes you do have to think of it like that. I know a lot of Black Americans that was secretly voting for Trump because of the policies that they had for the military. A lot of Black veterans, not even veterans, active, military. So there are some Black Americans that said they didn't want Biden in there because Trump was, at that time, he was doing something with I forgot what they were getting a little extra in their benefit or something. It was something of that nature. I can't recall it, but I remember some Black Americans telling me that shit, and they were saying they wanted Trump for that reason, and that's just on a personal, just for them, So think about that. Like, did you thrive under the Biden administration or under a Democrat administration? Did you thrive when Obama was in there? Honestly, I don't thrive under Biden. I don't thrive under Democratic administrations. Biden's administration, I don't thrive under. In fact, Biden's administration has been, I'm telling you, these people got hit. It's gangbanging. It's deep. And sometimes, especially if you come up against an administration or you on a radar or you on a watch list, a government watch list or something of that nature, these administrations can make your life a motherfucking living hell. Seriously. If you are one of the ones that's on a watch list, or you done pissed off some folks, or you done said the wrong thing, come on. And so I don't thrive under no fucking Biden administration. I feel like these motherfuckers go out their way to make. Come on. I didn't have all these issues under a Trump administration. I'm talking about on the personal level, and things are good now. Things are I'm not having all the issues that I was having with when it came to like frozen bank accounts and shit like that, and weird tampering. You know how the targeted harassment stuff goes. You guys know about that stuff, whether you want to admit it or not, or act like it's, try to gaslight and try to act like that's not a thing. It is a thing for activists or for certain scholars that write certain material, that are not controlled opposition, that talk too much, that are conservative. Come on, we all know these things. So, it just is what it is. And so, with me personally, I didn't thrive under a Biden administration. I wasn't necessarily hindered or anything, but I do feel like the DNC, they fuck with influencers or people that, even if they're a micro influencer, because I'm not a big influencer, but even if you're a micro influencer, they have little ways of fucking with algorithms, and and big tech is left, as we know. So even when you're trying to get into the algorithms, whether it be on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, they could just shadow ban your ass if you're not a liberal, if you're not for the left, if you're not even if you're neutral, even certain topics, this left administration will, it's an engine. So it's not necessarily, and I'm not blaming everything on Biden, but it's an engine, it's a machine. And so when they get into office, like these Democrats and the DNC and the liberals, like it fucks with my algorithm, because their algorithm is different than my algorithm. We don't have, so it clashes, and they got more pull in the 3D Earth realm than I do. So they can they'll mess with them algorithms, and your shit will get shadow banned, and or you will get, limited opportunity. They know what to do. They do it all the time to people. I'm not the only one. They have went after conservatives heavy on Twitter, heavy on YouTube. It just is what it is. White, black, whatever. And so I'll be thinking about that. Like I'll be wondering about that. And even like even if you think about it just from a critical thinking level, like, there's some Black Americans, they tell me they get SSD or SSI or something, and they be thinking like we have to continue to go with the Democrats because the Democrats give you SSI and SSD or something. That's not true, because Obama never gave a raise in SSI when he was in there, but Trump did. So it's like, not Trump, but the Republican machine did. So it's like, even when you think about that, like, yeah, I guess because that used to be a thing. That was a thing that the Democrats used to say. Like, even Biden said they want to put you back in chains. I don't know if y'all remember that, but I remember when Biden told Black Americans that the Republicans want to put us back in chains and they want to take away our benefits. And there's a lot of elders that do get SSI and that do you rely on SNAP, and not just Black Americans, but Americans in general that rely on SNAP. And that's food supplement. And so they would think, okay, we got to always vote for the Democrats or else we're not going to get our SNAP. And that's just not true. Those things are above the level of politics. Again, the world is a stage. And so it's that kind of, those type of things are above Democrat and Republican. Okay, because at the end of the day, let's not act like some of these people be around. They in a brotherhood, a sisterhood, a cult, a secret society, and they clapping it up, digging it up. Hey, buddy. Some of them, not all, because again, there are literal different agendas that are way beyond politics when it comes to when you back DNC and when you back RNC, when you back the Republicans. You are literally backing an entire agenda that may be known or unknown to you. You have to be able to decipher code. These people understand code and information and in different set that say the average American that's just gonna watch Fox or watch MSNBC and CN, what is it, CNNBC and all that stuff. They gonna watch that, and they not gonna catch the stuff that's hidden. They communicate to each other because this is about a bloodline at the end of the day, and they little occult wars and secret society wars that they love to play out right in front of your ass. And then everybody just play dumb and act like they don't know what and they hope the American people are so stupid that they don't, that they not gonna catch up on it. Some hope that you are. Some are actively trying to wake you up. And so we'll see that, you can see that play out. And so when you think about, okay, we back in DNC, you be back in this liberal left agenda, you are backing a whole ideology and a whole agenda that may or may not be known to you. And you got to know that. You got to know that. And then you'll have Republican, you got some renegade, Trump kind of a renegade, because the Republicans kind of felt like he was bucking up too much against the establishment as well. And so when he went in there talking about, we going to drain the swamp, we going after, these pedophiles, we going after those that's trafficking children, we going after, we're going to expose some of the corruption in government. We're going to expose the government corruption. You're backing a whole agenda. You're backing something, and then it's some, you got globalist agenda, then you got American first agenda. You have to think about that. So you had the globalist agenda that's like, okay, we want a new world order, a one world government, a one world system, a digital ID, a digital currency, a social credit score, COVID vaccines and mandates, like shit like that. That's all left. Like, that's like, when you vote for that, you voting for more government interference, more government oversight, big government spending. Okay. You're voting for a whole thing. And if that government administration happened to be caught up in some of the more deep state shadow shit that you don't know about, trafficking, yeah. So you gotta pay attention to all of that, And so my disgust with the DNC is not, obviously it's a political level, but it's the stuff I can see behind their veil. Again, this is all spiritual to me. So me as a priestess, good and hell well I can see behind what they really doing, and so can a lot of you Black Americans. Many of you know what I'm talking about when I'm saying, like, what we all saw WikiLeaks. Come on, we know WikiLeaks, and we seen them emails, we read them emails, and then some of us, we seen some shit. We know we know about the cabal, So it's like, like, for me, it's a lot deeper, and I'm not backing that. I'm not backing the DNC until they get their shit together, until they drain their own swamp. Okay. And so that part of my, and again, some people are contractually obligated to support DNC through bloodline. Oh, we ain't gonna go there because that's a little too esoteric, but it won't come off that way. It won't come off that way. It's deep. Oh, it's so deep. And I want to go there, but I don't want to mess up this video in terms of mixing some of the more mundane political stuff with high level occult knowledge. I don't want to mix. I usually I would do it and get away with it, but that's like taking people on a rabbit hole. Like that's like going down deep in the damn rabbit hole trying to explain that. But for the most part, you guys can even follow what I'm saying when I say like it's a bloodline. You back in a bloodline, and granted, they are all related. Trust me, they are all related, but there is a rift in how they want to govern America for the next 200 years. There was a blowout in the secret society where two are literally fighting for control. They went to war with one another, you know, and and a whole, and at least about spiritual war, but obviously this plays out how you see now. Um, but they went to war with one another, and people were sacrificed. Agendas were exposed. People are still getting exposed left and right. You see the CIA getting exposed every other week for some shit. They just got it. They just had one of their contractors admitting to going after Alex Jones and being able to lock up any American they want, set up any American, alluding to nudging through most likely would be, I would assume, mind control, the neuro linguistic programming that they have. The CIA want to continue to deny, and they will be exposed for that. And so when you see like the Pentagon, aspects of the Pentagon getting exposed, certain aspects of the CIA getting exposed, this is a war going on for the soul of America. For it's behind the scenes. It's covert. It's not well known. You have to pay attention to the codes. Even a situation with P Diddy, believe it or not, he's caught up in all of this. It's all related. And so it's much deeper. This is a order, an ancient order, a bloodline order that is feuding. Do we want to go globalist, Rockefeller type agenda, Rothschild's type agenda? You'll own nothing and be happy. Agenda 2030, agenda 2063, globalists. Or do you want to go more of the American neutralist, individualist or level, where it's more American based? And that side does believe in American dominance. And so people may see it, well, that's imperialism 2.0. They do believe in the dominance of America, for America, but also globally. And so that side does not necessarily admit that a lot, but from what I'm getting spiritually, that side is totally about American dominance. Whereas the other side, they was willing to sell America out to China. I ain't even gonna hold you. They have tried. They have done very illegal things against this country, believe it or not. People in power, people that work for the Senate, oh yeah, they have. And I'm speaking as a spiritualist. I can see this, and it will be confirmed if it's not already confirmed. It most likely is already confirmed, and I just don't know that it's been confirmed, or it will be confirmed. Trust me, from what I'm saying. Like there are people that are in Congress, that are in the Senate, that have made deals with China behind this country's back and espionage. They have engaged in treasonous behaviors by taking bribery and money from China to pass even certain laws. That will be exposed if it's not already exposed. Maybe somebody could enlighten me and tell me, but I have seen it. This is what God has shown me, that there was American politicians on the left, Democrats, doing this shit, selling America out to China. And so you got that going on. There are those, and it is way high above both political parties. By the way, it goes deeper than just these two political parties, as you know. Above that level, they want a China move. They don't mind China being a global power. But they want their system though. The fascists, that crazy ass dictatorship system where everybody monitored and surveillance 24 hours a day, Everything you do is monitor, facial recognition, drones. They come and knock your ass up if you say anything against the government. They come and kill your ass. They want that shit that's in China. They want that over here in America, and actually want it globally because they want it global. They want this global. So they don't mind. They study a lot of China's psychology and sciences around subduing the masses of the population, how to mind control a massive population through uh, communism. You know, there are people in our government that are studying that stuff because they want it over here, and they will. And even though they know it's detrimental for the future generations, these politicians, they take in a bag temporary money. You get my 3 million, whatever, 20 million, and you go and lobby for some bullshit that's against the American people, or you go and y'all band together and you do it on a collective level that in a sinister, sneaky way. This is what is occurring. Okay, and this is what's been shown to me in the spiritual realm. And so it will get confirmed. It will get confirmed. If not, it will be. It's already confirmed. Somebody already done got caught, and it's a politicians, it's Democratic politicians in the Senate and in the Congress that have taken money from China to influence certain policies, and it's a group of them, and it will be exposed. Um, and so we're dealing with that. And then you got the other side that is a part of a federation. They do not want they don't want to see a Chinese takeover and all this bullshit happen to humanity and all that. No, 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 no. They don't believe in that on planet Earth. It is actually diametrically opposed to universal law, universal order, and they understand and they really respect natural law and the universal laws. And so you got a group of again. We at the level above Republican and Democrat. Now we at the interdimensional level. Two families. Two. Oof, it's so deep, man. Let me get up out of their business because I know they be looking like, see this bitch you talk to. Because I be up there seeing stuff and I'm like, by that I'm talking about the stratosphere, the collective consciousness, and you can see certain things that the human's not supposed to see or know, and then I come and report it. But yeah, it's at the interdimensional level. There's another family. This is not a family like that like Rothschilds or nothing. Like, no, this is deeper, way deeper, and they are the ones that are running all of this, and they some of them want to see, more freedoms and more liberation, more fairness, more equity, because they know the signs of the times. And then there's the other side that's like, we hold on to our power no matter what. They wouldn't even know how to survive in a system that we're trying to usher in, a system of a golden age, a system of balance and of peace and enlightenment. And that's for the people, for humanity. They wouldn't even know what the fuck we talking about. They don't understand what could we possibly mean. Because they don't run on intellect and they don't run on common sense. They have to get into your psyche in terms of mind control and distraction to control the state of consciousness of the American people or of the world in general. So it's based on deception and fear and lies. And so, the other side that can see what's going on is like, it's literally a new day. So it's rather you prolong the inevitable, or we make the shift gradually now in a way that is comfortable for the American people and for the world, and to where American people and humans in general can be caught up in knowledge, caught up in consciousness, because right now they're not. And so when the beings that, how do I say this? When those of us that can understand how this stuff go and that it's interdimensional, when we try to come and explain this stuff, we get looked at like we got two fucking heads or deer in headlights, because of the level of deception that the people that run the system have been using, and the level of lies and the things that they didn't tell the American people, and the things they didn't tell humanity, the things they hid from humanity, and the things they lied about. And so now in 2024, we're in a day and age where everything is all out and open. Veils are thin. You got interdimensional beings that want to come out as a group of us that don't even give a fuck. We're like the ancient ones. We feel comfortable in our skin, and we ain't got shit to hide, and we ain't trying to abuse nobody and lie to nobody or take from nobody. We don't have no sinister ass agenda, so we don't give a damn about sharing who and telling about who we are. Then you got the other side that benefits from humanity's ignorance. And so it's a lot. It gets is deeper than just Republican and Democrat. It's deeper than just American politics. It's deeper than just globalization and individualization. It's deep. It is much much deeper than that. And believe it or not, just something as simple as a Trump election or Biden election, presidential election, no matter how you look at it, it's a horse and pony show, and however you look at it, um, it does set the precedence and the tone for the state of consciousness of the next 4 to 12 years. It always does. And so you have to think of it, if nothing else, that you are voting for an agenda and an ideology that should at least be benefiting you on an individual level. Then obviously your group and your ethnicity, your community, and then your country. We should be thinking of those things. Of course we should. And so let me get my ass on it off of here. I don't said what I had to say. Yep. So I'm gonna talk to you guys later. You guys enjoy your Thursday and your weekend as well. Okay. Love you. Bye.